Okay, pal, you want smash mouth power and efficiency? Then here's your starting lineup. Ford F-Series, #1 for 37 years straight. Talk about a dynasty, baby. Hey, it's game time, sports fans, at the Bill Ford Tough Sales event.
And good afternoon, everyone, from the lobby of Bruner Motors on the corner of the South Loop and Lillian Street in Stephenville. Make sure you stop by. We'll be here until 12:30. We've got pizza courtesy of the pizza place in Stephenville, refreshments, and of course we'll roll the dice and give away some Tarleton athletic gear and a car wash and an oil change from Bruner Motors later in the half hour. The Coach Lonn Reisman radio show is sponsored by the Bruner Auto family, so we thank them for their support in making the show possible. Coach, good afternoon. Congratulations on 2 big wins.
Well, thank you, Casey. It's it's a journey and it's a grind right now, and we have a lot of tough games ahead of us, so you can just take one at a time, and thankfully we got a good road win at Eastern New Mexico last Saturday night and came home and played a McMurray team on Wednesday that we have a lot of respect for.
And we'll start by talking about those 2 games, and you alluded to the game in Portales on Saturday night. The Greyhounds were 7-11 coming into that game. You would win it 89-64, and probably on the stat sheet, the thing that sticks out, Coach, 67% from the field. The school record back in 1990, 69%, efficient to say the least.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the way we're shooting the ball lately, Casey. We took 48 shots, and you make 32 of 48, you're gonna be in a lot of ball games. And also I thought we did a very good job of going out there and a long trip. You got a 7-hour journey. I thought we rebounded the ball better. We had 40 rebounds in that game, and things that we're trying to get better with our chemistry and continue to work players in and that can help us in different spots in the ball game.
Yeah, I was looking at that rebounding margin. You out-rebound the Greyhounds 40-21, and I didn't realize this. 24 of your 40 rebounds came off the bench.
Well, we with a little bit of a shift in our rotation right now, probably we bring Carter and we bring Clemens off the bench and Jakob off the bench, and their strength is hopefully going to the backboards, but we still have to have Tayshawn and we still have to have EJ really rebounding the basketball, because it's so important that they're playing the minutes they're playing, that we've got to do a good job on the backboards.
It was a historic night for Tayshawn Mabry. He had 31 points. That's only happened 17 times during your tenure at Tarleton, and he was very efficient from the field. How impressed were you by that?
Well, when a guy takes 19 shots and makes 13, that's very efficient. When you're taking 25 shots and making 7, that's not very efficient. So he was tremendously efficient that night. He 13 and 19 from the floor, 3 of 6 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. He thought he was really in a zone. He was really focusing, and you've seen him. He's really playing well right now. I think he's very serious about where he wants his game to be. I think he's very serious about giving us some leadership in our team. And I'm glad to see that he's having the senior year that he deserves to have.
We talked about the guys off the bench. You look at Damian Clemens on that game, 7 points, 6 boards, and 2 blocks.
And he's been doing that. I think he had 7 rebounds and 7 points over at Cameron, and we need Damian to continue to do that off the bench for us. He's very important to our program right now. He goes in and plays 20 minutes, and he plays good defense, and he takes charges, and he's just a guy that has a good IQ for the game.
Coach, you're now 16-5 all-time at Greyhound Arena. Kind of hard to believe, as tough as it is to play out there.
Well, we've had good players, and we've had a lot of success out there, and it's a very tough place to play. There's no doubt about that, because of the journey that takes you out there. And again, they've lost a player. They actually brought one of their best players back that night in Domingo.
Yeah.
They had lost him for about a month or 5 or 6 games, and he makes a difference for them, and there's no doubt that bringing him back and playing that night and getting him back into their rotation is going to help their team.
With the 89-64 win over Eastern New Mexico, the Tarleton Texans improved to 16-2 overall, 4-2 in the Lone Star Conference, picking up their 33rd win over the Greyhounds in the past 35 meetings between the 2 schools. On Wednesday night, Tarleton returned home for a non-conference matchup with a 5-9 McMurray team. Coach, they're making that transition from Division II, back to Division III. But this game's still important because it was a counter. Explain that.
Well, they're still a Division II counter for us, and they're a South Central regional game for us. And when you look at the formula to make the NCAA tournament, you look at your in-region games, and that's an in-region win if we win the ball game. So it was a very big game for us, and we knew, on the schedule, it's very important for us to win our in-region games, even though it's not conference, because it does calculate into that formula. And also McMurray and Tarleton's had a tradition over the past years when we were in the old TAIAA, and they've always had a rich tradition of basketball at McMurray University. I have a lot of respect for their university, a lot of respect for their program. Their kids play hard. They're very, very well coached, and we played pretty well that night.
Tarleton would win 89-42, your 7th consecutive win over McMurray. You talk a little bit about the history between these two schools. A lot of people like myself might not remember that history because that was a long time. I don't think you played at McMurray since 1993.
Well, since we left the TIAA, so yeah, it's we haven't had. We're going to go over there this year, of course. And it's a very hard place to play at McMurray. I've been in that gym I had a team one year, had a 17-game winning streak, and went into there and we lost. And that's when Herschel Kimbrell was still coaching over there. And so, it's a tough place to play and a game that we're going to have to prepare for when the time comes in the next few weeks.
The storyline in this 47-point win was, Coach, you took a season-high 32 three-point attempts. You hit 16 of them. The school record, folks, 17 back on January 20th, 1996 against Central Oklahoma. Has it surprised you how this team is shooting the three all of a sudden?
Well, we have some very good shooters. There's no doubt about that. We've added another three-point shooter into our lineup, and we're playing with some confidence right now, Casey. There's no doubt about it. I've always said that I want to see our team get better. How can we get better? And it's February, and it's the time to start thinking about peaking and your team starting to play its best basketball. I think in the last 2 games, even though that we played teams that the records are not great, I've seen some improvement because Cameron was a very tough team to beat at Cameron. And so now we just have to see how our progress is made into the middle of February. Win or lose, we have to continue to make progress and get better. And I think that we were looking at some things and now have made our team better.
How about the line from Mo Lee in this game? A team high 21 points, 9 boards, 5 trays, 5 assists, all-around performance.
Well, the best thing is I'm seeing is 4 offensive rebounds and 9 boards altogether, 5 assists to 1 turnover. That's a great ratio there. And then he takes 8 shots, 11 shots and makes 8. Those things are efficient, and he has to keep playing at the level. Our seniors are going to have to play at the level they're playing at right now.
And Coach Chris told me before the game that you just didn't need to out-rebound McMurray. You needed to dominate on the boards. You did that. 23 to 5 second chance points because of those offensive rebounds. How key is that?
Well, again, it's a team that we should have out-rebounded, and Eastern New Mexico is a team we should have out-rebounded. Now we have to take that to the floor against a team that like Commerce, that we're getting ready to play tomorrow. Can we compete on the boards with them in the Midwestern? Those are the teams that we're going to find out down the stretch where we are, what we're doing on the backboards, how we're taking care of the ball on turnovers, and see if we can take our game to that level now.
Just a quick note on E.J. Reed. He's played 33 minutes over the past 2 games, 33 points, 11 boards, 5 steals, and 3 blocks. What's he bringing to the starting 5?
Well, he brings a good IQ to the game, Casey. He brings a lot of, he's a very talented player that's taken time for him to engage himself into our program. And he's a transfer, and sometimes it takes some people longer than others, and it's taking him a little bit longer. But I think he's engaging now. I think that he's getting some good leadership from Tayshawn. I think he's getting some good leadership from others on our team, and I think that he's getting more. I'm a very serious person, and I want our team to be serious. And I think he's finally found out that he's got to be focused and concentrate, and I think he's buying into what we're doing right now. And by doing that, you can see his game is really elevated, and him and Tayshawn have developed some chemistry, just like Devin and Damian have great chemistry together. They played there for 4 years, and so we're trying to build something with those 4 in our rotation.
With the 89-42 win over McMurray, the now number 12 ranked Tarleton Texans are 17-2 overall. They pick up their 26th consecutive non-conference victory. We'll take our first break. When we return in 1 minute, the Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Week, Tayshawn Mabry, joins the broadcast when Tarleton Texan basketball continues right after this. It's time for this week's Tarleton Player Spotlight. Our guest today has appeared in 49 games for the Purple and White, 585 career points, 183 rebounds, 31 double-digit scoring games. He's this week's Lone Star Conference Offensive Player of the Week. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the show, forward from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, Tayshawn Mabry. Tay, what's going on?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's always good to talk to you, man. And we've got to start off talking about how hot you've been shooting the ball here lately. 84 points over the past 4 games. All 4 of those games wins for the Texans. You just been in a groove lately?
Yeah, just spent a lot of time after practice and before shoot around again with Coach Chris, and just doing a whole bunch of extra work. That's about it.
Now, everybody knows Tayshawn Mabry can shoot the 3. You've got 72 three-point makes in your career, but it seems like you've become more versatile, especially over the past few games, taking the ball into the paint, down low in the block. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's all about being more aggressive, and like in the past years before I had my injury, I used to do a lot of things inside, so I just want to get back to my roots of playing inside and out.
On Saturday night, you scored 31 points at Eastern New Mexico. You're just the 17th player to do that in Coach Reisman's 27 years at Tarleton State? Were you just in a zone in that game? You like Greyhound Arena, or what is it?
Oh, man, yeah, last year I went down there, I didn't have a real good game, but we came out with the win.
But Upchurch had 38 in that game. You remember that?
Yeah, Church went off. He went off that night. He couldn't miss. It was like throwing a rock into the ocean. but yeah, it was just being more aggressive, trying to just do whatever I can do to put my team in a position to win.
Now, a lot of fans don't realize when you go on a long trip like that, you actually get to Port Tallis on Friday night, and you go over to this facility and shoot around for an hour. How much does that help to get in there the night before and shoot around in a facility you're not used to?
It helps a lot, just to come in there, get up extra shots, and get a feel for the arena and just how things gonna be. Because in Port Tallis, it's kind of hard to breathe out there too with all that air. So
yeah, it's people don't realize that.
Important.
Yeah, people don't realize you go from like I don't know, under 1,000 elevation here to like 2,500, 3,000 above sea level. And did you see me shoot around that night, by the way?
Oh yeah,
the radio guy out there. A lot of air balls.
Yeah, you were catching out from the three-point line.
Trust me, you don't want me on the court. The team talk a little bit about E.J. Reed, because since Cameron, in the second half of that Cameron game, if you remember, E.J. started with you. You've started 3 or 4 games since then. What is it about you and E.J. playing together that seems to work?
Oh man, E.J. a real talented guy. We kind of both, we're real versatile guys, and I just kind of feed off whatever he gives me. He can shoot the 3, he can put it on the floor. So we open up things a lot for each other.
Yeah, and talked with EJ after the game, Tayshawn, and I think he started 4 of 14 from the arc. If you go back to a couple games ago, that was 29%. In the past 2 games, he's been 4 of 6 from behind the arc. And I talked to him, and he gave a lot of that credit to you. He said that you kind of encouraged him to take those shots from downtown and not give up.
Yeah, well, we do this thing in practice called 5-minute shooting, where we shoot 3s and do everything like that. And EJ has a real nice stroke from behind the line. And the main thing as a shooter, you just got to keep shooting and never lose confidence in what you can do.
Sure.
So I just always instill that into him and just tell him to keep his head up no matter what he's going through, and whatever slump it is, just keep shooting.
Hey, work with him on EJ on his free throw shooting, because he was like one of 7 from the stripe the other night. So.
I got to do the same thing.
Hey, before coming to Tarleton, you spent 2 years out at Modesto Junior College in Modesto, California. What was that experience like? California.
It was a real humbling experience for me. It was a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but California was great. It helped mature me a whole lot. Just being on your own, being 7,000 plus miles away from your own home.
Long way from North Carolina.
By yourself. So it was great. It was great.
Speaking of North Carolina, a lot of basketball legends from that state. Growing up, who did you idolize?
Man, guys like Chris Paul. Jordan went to UNC. He's from.
Yeah.
Well, he's not really from North Carolina, but growing up there in Wilmington,
sure,
he's one of those guys. I had two area legends by the name of Phil Ford and Bud Williams. They came from my area. I kind of looked up to those guys to be able to do what they did, and that's about it.
Yeah, a lot of good basketball players from the state of North Carolina. Obviously, this is the Lonn Reisman show, so I got to ask some Coach Reisman questions. Have you ever played for anyone as intense as him?
I had some intense coaches, but I don't think none of them beat Coach Reisman, man. He always Coach loud, man. All the time. It'd be 6 in the morning. Coach come in there, yelling.
At 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I'm still sleeping by then. I just want to go on the record and say that. What has Coach Reisman taught you on and off the court?
Just pretty much, just making me a better man both on and off the court. No matter what we go through, just got to stay strong, just keep fighting. Whatever, it can be your worst day. You're coming in there crossing no purple lines, man, it's just all love, So.
All right, quick fire round. I know you've heard of this. We do it every week, so I'm going to have a subject, a name, and you just give me a 1-sentence response.
All right.
You can do that, Tay?
I can do that.
Here we go. For favorite professional sports team?
I like LeBron, so I'm going to go with the Cavs.
You're going to go with the Cavs. Are you glad that he went back to Cleveland?
Yeah, kind of. I liked him with the Cavs. He was better then when he was in Miami.
Outside of Wisdom Gym, the toughest place you played in the Lone Star Conference?
Midwest.
And you got to go there in a few weeks. Looking forward to that?
Yes, sir.
Actually, in a few weeks. You got to go there in a few days on Wednesday night. I know you're not thinking about that because it's all
one game at a time.
One game at a time. Assistant coach Marlon Cloudy.
Laid back.
Laid back. Favorite subject to study?
I'd say history.
Wisdom Gym.
The jungle.
The jungle. I haven't heard of that one, but it gets pretty wild in there. Favorite food?
Pizza.
Golden Crown? I thought you were going to say Golden Crown. Nah. Associate head coach Chris Reisman.
That's hard work.
Your ultimate team goal for Tarleton?
Win the national championship.
Favorite movie?
Menace to Society.
Your biggest career goal outside of basketball?
Just to be able to do what I love to do and give back to my community.
Funniest teammate And this is an interesting one because everybody has a different answer.
Mo Lee.
Mo Lee, yeah, that's what I say. I asked Mo that, and can't even remember who he said. And Mo said he was himself. And we all know if you travel with the team, it's Mo Lee. All right, time for our final question. On Saturday, you go to Commerce. You're going to take on the number 25 team in the nation. You're going to face the leading scorer and rebounder in the conference in Darrell Williams. You're going to be matched up with him quite a bit. So how good is Williams?
I seen a few clips on Darrell Williams. He's a pretty talented guy. He can do a lot of things, and he plays hard. So I look forward to the matchup.
Well, Tayshawn, best of luck on Saturday. It's always fun, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
That is junior forward Tayshawn Mabry. Let's give him a round of applause, folks, for joining the show. When we return in 1 minute, Coach will rejoin the broadcast. We'll preview the matchup with Commerce and go around the Lone Star Conference when the Coach Lonn Reisman radio show continues right after this. And, of course, you can listen to every broadcast of Texan and Texan basketball on every coach's show at tarletonsports.com/listening live. A lot of people don't know this, but this man's from Cuba, New York. And apparently we've got some folks from Cuba, New York listening today, Coach.
Well, I think so. I mean, I had one of my friends that I grew up with in New York, Bill Amundsen. I don't know if he's there. And I have a bunch of friends that I didn't leave New York till I was going into the 9th grade. And I got a email from the other day that said he was listening to the radio show up in Cuba, New York, and they're probably snowed in with about 10 foot of snow up there right now. I can promise you that. But I grew up with those guys, and Mike Bresney and David Setchell, and Bill Amundsen was my best friend. And I can remember going out to the barn in 10 below zero.
You went out to a barn?
We went out to a barn and played basketball on nights until 2 o'clock in the morning when we were in those grades, in 7th and 8th grade. And it might be 10 below zero. We'd be shooting it with mittens on and snow boots and whatever it took.
These kids think they have it tough now.
We did it all the time. We just, we shovel snow all night to get on the court. So, Bill, if you're listening, I really appreciate seeing you this summer. I hadn't seen him in 40 years, and I got a chance to see him this summer.
Awesome. Now, before we preview the upcoming games for Tarleton State, let's just go through a few of the scores, Coach. We don't have time to go through all of them, but a couple games on Saturday. Texas A&M Commerce 76, West Texas A&M 75. Buffalo's really proven to be tough, and they missed a three-pointer at the buzzer.
Well, we know how good that both teams are, and Casey, it is so hard to win on the road in this league. If you look at, and it's everywhere. I looked the other day, and Duke loses at Notre Dame the other day, and the road is tough for anybody, even in the Big 12. It's tough for
Maryland got blown out.
It's tough, and West Texas has got a very formidable team. They play very hard. They can shoot the ball, and that's they're gonna upset people. They're gonna win. They're gonna be tough places to play on the road. And tomorrow we play in one of the tough places there is on the road. We got beat there last year and had a team that was 28-3. And we lost to Commerce last year in the last seconds, and so we know how good Commerce is. We know that we have it's going to be a great ball game. We have to go over there and play at a high level. You cannot go on the road and not play at a high level, and we have to play at an extreme high level tomorrow. Execute our game plan, and then stay in that. If you can stay in that ball game with 3 or 4 minutes to go and have your opportunity to steal one on the road, that's what it's all about.
And that is game number 20 of the regular season, and it is between the number 12 ranked Texans, number 25 ranked Lions. Coach, you just talked about the Fieldhouse being tough. This is how tough it is. They've won 14 straight, and your only loss on the road last year was there. It's a difficult facility.
It's a very difficult facility. It'll be a very tough ball game. We have won there in the past, so we know that we can. But we also know that they have one of their best. I think they have their best team, Casey, since 2005 when we upset them and we went over there to go to the Sweet 16, or went to the Elite Eight.
Yep.
And we beat them in the championship game of the regional over there. That's the best team they've had since then. I'm not sure it's not even a better team because I think they have such great chemistry, and they have some of the best, one of the best players that's probably played in the Lone Star quite a while. And so it's going to be a really tough challenge. But they're all tough challenges.
Yeah.
We're 17-2. And we've worked very hard to get to where we're at right now, and with a new group. Remember, we have a new group too, and I feel good about where our group is and where we're going to be in a month from now. Again, you want to win every game you can, but you want to continue to get better to get to that. And when you get to Allen, you have something that can happen there.
And about Darrell Williams, the senior forward for the Lions, who leads the Lone Star Conference in scoring and in rebounding. In your opinion, is he the best all-around player right now?
It sure looks like it right now, Casey. I mean, the guy's averaging 16, 17 points a game and almost 13 rebounds a game. And when you put that combination together, you got to give that young man a lot of respect. He's done a tremendous job, and then you got good players behind him that are feeding him the ball, people that are sharing the ball. So it's going to be a very tough test for us tomorrow.
And it's one thing to out-rebound Eastern and McMurray, but you're about to take on one of the best rebounding teams in the nation.
Well, and you've just told me they're the #1 defensive rebounding team in the country, and I'll tell you that says something about their program. When you're the #1 defensive, what are they averaging, 44 defensive board or whatever defensive boards per game? That tells you that we're going to have to do the best job that we probably have all year, because you cannot win on the road and give up too many boards.
Yeah, another impressive stat for them. They're 9th in the nation in field goal percentage defense, holding opponents under 39. And when we think of Commerce teams, we think of high-flying, high-scoring teams, but they can D up.
They have a good defensive team this year. They're giving up 38, and we're giving up 39. So it's going to be two good defensive teams, and it's going to see, we're averaging almost 50% from the floor on the year. They're averaging 45% from the floor on the year. And so and when you say, well, they're 45% on the floor, but you got to realize they're such a good rebounding team that they can make up for that off the offensive boards, and that's where we have to make sure that we limit their touches.
Chris Reisman will appreciate this stat. I went back, and Nathan Burrell helped me with this. Tarleton and Commerce have never faced each other as ranked teams. Not even in that South Central Regional Championship game, Tarleton was unranked. That's odd, considering how good these programs have been.
Yeah, it's just one of those, each year you never know how the rankings are going to go. Sure. And to be honest with you, we're all waiting for the regional ranking to come out. Yeah. The national ranking really is nice. It's nice to recruit with. It's nice to have great visibility around the country to know that you're 12th in the nation. And but again, you got to put that all away, and you got to go play tomorrow night, and not worry about that, and see where you're going to be when that regional ranking comes out here in the next couple of weeks.
It's the Texans and the Lions on Saturday night at 6 o'clock from the Fieldhouse in Commerce, Texas. Then on Wednesday night, you'll travel to Wichita Falls to take on arch rival Midwestern State at D.L. Ligon Coliseum, where the Mustangs coach are 28-5 over the past 3 seasons. Has to be the toughest 2-game road stretch of the year.
Well, it is, and but it's what it's all about. I mean, this is what you're going to face when you play great basketball teams, and we have 2 back-to-back great basketball teams that we have to face, and we're looking forward to that. Last year, we were able to go over to the Ligon Coliseum and win that ball game. They came back over and won it ours. So I mean, it's back and forth. These things are going down. We're going down the stretch, and we after tomorrow night we have 8 games left, Casey. 4 at home and 4 on the road, and it's going to be a tough 8-game stretch.
Actually, the road teams won the last 3 in this series, possibly the trademark of just a rivalry game.
I think so.
You're used to playing both places.
Yeah, I think it's that type of game that you're just going to have to go play, and we're used to games that just go down to the end.
The Mustangs are not ranked in the top 25 poll, but they're receiving votes. This is how tough the South Central region is. There's 8 regions in the nation. The South Central region coach right now has Angelo State at number 8, Colorado Springs at 9, Metro at 11, Tarleton at 12, Colorado Mines at 13, St. Edwards at 23, Commerce at 25, and we all know Midwestern State's a top 25 team.
Yeah, they're a top 25 team.
That's got to be the toughest region in the nation.
It is an absolute, just Casey. It's just every night it's just a war out there, and these teams are all so good, and between the RMAC and the Lone Star, and then you got a Heartland school in there that's having a big year, and you got some other Heartland schools in there that you can't mention yet that can beat anybody in this league.
St. Mary's, yeah.
So you got the St. Mary's of the world. So I mean, there's just so many good basketball teams. There's no nights off.
It's the Texans and the Mustangs on Wednesday night at 7:30 from D.L. Ligon Coliseum in the 72nd meeting between the 2 schools. Coach and I are back in 1 minute as we wrap up this edition of the Coach Lonn Reisman Radio Show on the Tarleton Sports Network. The Tarleton Texans are now 11-5 overall, 4-3 tied for 4th place in the Lone Star Conference. They defeat McMurray on Wednesday night 64-37. They'll return to action Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, against the 10-7 and 4-3 Commerce Lions from the Fieldhouse. The pregame show at 3:45. And don't forget, Texan basketball returns to Wisdom Gym on Sunday afternoon. Coach, we're going to have a pre-Super Bowl party on Sunday.
Yeah, as I understand, everybody gets in free. And the game should be over, and go home and watch the Super Bowl. So hopefully everybody turns out for the Texans. Are having a great year, and Misty's doing a great job, and they've been in every game. They really have. They're really going to make a run at this thing.
Texas women's will come to town at 2 o'clock, and it is a big game because Tarleton lost to TWU and Denton earlier in the year. So get out to Wisdom Gym on Sunday at 2 o'clock, and remember the Coach Misty Wilson radio show. Kelton Weens is here in the back. He hosts that show every Thursday at noon from the lobby of First Financial Bank in Stephenville. Also, a few other announcements. Texan basketball again Saturday night at 6 o'clock from the field house. The pregame show here on 90.5 FM KTRL at 5:45. The Coach Chris Reisman pregame interview, starting lineups and more. So make sure you tune in for that. Again, the Lone Star Conference basketball tournament returns to the Allen Event Center March 4th through the 7th. We know this, both the Texans and Texans are going to make the trip to Allen, so make sure you get your advance tickets. You need to get them in advance. If you get a session ticket at the Tarleton ticket office, you get a free t-shirt with your ticket. And if you get an all-tournament pass, then you'll get that at a discounted rate. You can buy those at the Tarleton ticket office in Wisdom Gym or over the phone with a credit card at 254-968-1832. We want to thank our live audience. Coach, another outstanding crowd, as always, here at Bruner Motors, and we do that by rolling the dice, and there's one rule with the dice.
Can't skid it.
You cannot skid it, so if you roll the dice, you got to roll it.
It's got to roll.
We've got Dennis Jones, Dr. Jones. I'm ready to go.
He's probably never rolled dice in his life.
No, I don't see him as a dice rolling type. No offense, Dr. Jones. And so you can win a car wash or an oil change from Bruner Motors. We have a Tarleton athletic shirt
like
and a Tarleton athletic hat.
It looks
my
like
goodness, oil change.
Oil
there we go.
change. Oh my
Congratulations, Dr. Jones. It's an oil change courtesy of BrunerAuto.com. We've got Bob Beckett. Bob, come on down. Bob, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So Bob will roll that dice and
see what he wins here.
Here we go, Bob. Roll the dice.
What did he get?
Grand prize. All right. So Bob is entered into our final roll-off we'll have before the Lone Star Conference tournament. It's going to be Bob against two others right now.
Yeah, 3 people in the grand prize
and you win tickets to the conference tournament, a dinner, gas, a car wash, courtesy of BrunerAuto.com. Congratulations, Bob. And Kelsey Goodwin. Kelsey, come on down, our final contestant. Kelsey, thanks for being here, and Kelsey will roll the dice. Here we go, Kelsey. Got a little roll of the dice. Oh, she gets a hat. Thank you, Kelsey. So Kelsey, Bob, and Dennis, thanks for being here. Congratulations. And Bob, we'll have you back for our grand prize roll-off somewhere around the 1st of March. I want to thank everyone that was involved in this broadcast. Thanks to the pizza place in Stephenville for providing the food. Before I forget, Reisman last week won a car wash, won an oil change, and there's not a lot. How old is Rush now?
Oh, he's 5. He can't have a license yet.
A 5-year-old can't do much with an oil change, so Greg Bruner's got a little gift for Rush.
Oh, great.
Rush, man. Rush, you got to come up here.
You got to go up there and get your gift.
So you get a Hot Wheels, Rush.
Oh,
instead of an oil change.
Thank you.
There we go. Yeah. We would have had an IOU on that oil change for about 11 years.
11 years,
you know. So Rush gets a Hot Wheels.
I think he likes that better than the oil change.
I think so. Thanks again to the pizza place.
It's time for him to have a nap.
Yeah, he's a little wore out there. So thanks to the pizza place for providing the food. A big thanks to Tayshawn Mabry for being our guest earlier in the show. Our producer, Aaron Young, back at the KTRL studio. The one and only Jody Lee Cottle to my left from KWBY, our producer. Thank you, Jody Lee.
Jody.
And to the Bruner Auto family, thanks for sponsoring the show. Last but not least, thanks to each and every one of you for listening and for your support of Tarleton State University Athletics. Quick final question, Coach. Sam Walker entering his 15th year at Commerce. He's the second longest tenured head coach in the conference behind yourself. What's been the key behind his success?
Well, I think, he had a great mentor in Paul Peak. Over there, he worked for Paul for years, and that just tells you how old I am, because I can remember when Sammy Walker was just a young man. So, I mean,
I guess when Coach Peak was a coach, you were a young guy.
I don't know, anyways, Sammy's done a great job. He's been very loyal to that university, and he's been there a long time, and and I'm proud of the career he has over there.
Coach, thanks for your time as always. Best of luck this weekend against Commerce.
Thank you, Casey.
That's going to do it for this 4th edition of the Coach Lonn Reisman Radio Show for the 27th year head coach of the Texans. I'm Casey Hogan saying so long, everyone, from Bruner Motors in Stephenville. Until next time, have a great Friday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow night from Commerce, Texas.